Greetings to everyone and welcome to my presentation on ethics of working with international students. The beneficiaries of this presentation could be all student affairs professionals working with international students. However, this presentation is specifically designed for academic advisors who are working with international students. Ethics of academic advising could include, but is not limited to, respecting persons, being truthful, and living up to the commitment which is made both implicitly and explicitly. One of the commitments of student affairs profession that I have learned is making sure that everyone is welcomed and included in the environment that we are working in. So it will be totally unethical if we ignore international students by not putting efforts to provide a welcoming environment for them. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about how we can create a welcoming, supportive, and inclusive environment for international students. But let's begin with learning about international students. We should remember that international students have traveled far from their homes to get here. In addition to being first generation students or being non traditional college students, they are transitioning to a new culture and to a new academic environment. They might also be experiencing cultural shocks. Chronicle of Higher Education recognized that international students might have language barriers, they might get homesick more often, and they might be struggling with food differences. For example, when I came to the United States, I had hard times adjusting with the new academic environment and expectation, and also with the food differences. It took me a while to adjust and to transition. Emphasizing on the importance of welcoming international students, it is beneficial to know that international students comprise 8% of Western Michigan University student body. They enrich our local students' experience by sharing their culture, skills, and personal experiences inside and outside of the classroom. They contribute to American university finances in terms of paying higher tuition rates. Therefore, it is critical and ethical that our international students feel welcomed and included. To help our international students feel welcomed and valued, we can start from our personal interactions. Being patient is important when interacting with international students. As mentioned, there could be language barriers. Therefore, it might take longer for international students to process their thoughts or express their thoughts. Speaking clearly and slowly could be very helpful. Also, avoid jargons, slangs, and idioms. If the student does not get what you are telling them, it's important to paraphrase it in different ways. When providing directions and locations, it could be very helpful if you provide students with written information if it is possible. Also, use compass maps or help them to locate the places on their phone applications. Do not give immigration advice for international students unless you are an immigration expert. What else could be more ethical than being culturally sensitive? Make sure that you pronounce the name of the students that you are working with correctly. If it is too difficult for you, ask the student to spell it out for you. Learn about the students that you are working with. Learn about their culture. Do not assume that all international students are the same. International students are different. Even if they are from the same country, they might have different ways of interaction, culture, and habits. The best resource to learn about international student is the student themselves. Ask them questions. International students love to talk about themselves and about their culture. Therefore, don't be shy about asking questions. It might also be helpful to know that in some cultures, men and women, or in general, they do not shake hands or establish frequent eye contacts, and therefore, establishing eye contact could be discomforting for them. So, it is always a good idea to ask the student if they are feeling comfortable when shaking hands or establishing frequent eye contacts. It's always a great idea to learn more about your international students. Collaborate with the Office of International Students to learn more about your students and the choices that they have to make. For example, international students have to make certain choices in taking online classes because of their immigration status. Therefore, you need to be updated and consult with immigration lawyer if necessary before you give any advice for the student. A great way to establish connection and learn more about the student is participating in their cultural events. Always, it's a good idea to check in with your international students on a regular basis, asking them about their transition, about their thoughts, and what are their plans, and simply how they are doing. Some useful suggestions that you could do while collaborating with other units would be offering language and academic support programs specified for international students, creating a positive platform where international students could interact with their local peers, creating opportunities to connect international students with the community, creating inclusive career development services. Last but not least, collaborating and establishing partnership with different parts of the campus to support international students' development. Again, inclusion being part of the ethics of student affairs profession requires us to put more effort in making our work environment as welcoming as possible. It will be entirely unethical if international students feel unwelcomed or feels that the environment is hostile to them because we are not putting enough support or enough efforts to make a welcoming environment. And these are my references. Thank you so much everyone for listening. If you have any question or comment, please feel free to contact me at the provided email address.